Hello, welcome to our Heritage Works. Today we're making cherry salad supreme. It's gluten-free, low sodium, and low in oxalates. This recipe is a family favorite, and it comes from a well-used recipe that was inserted into the family cookbook. Until recently, I didn't know where the recipe came from. All I knew was I really enjoyed it, and it was definitely a favorite of mine. So I did some investigating. Turns out that this comes from the Better Homes and Gardens prize-winning recipe, and it was contributed by Mrs. Fred Anderson of Buffalo, Minnesota. I didn't know that at the time when you got Better Homes and Gardens that they had pages that you could cut out and put into your cookbook. And so that's where this recipe came from. It was published in the magazine, cut out by my mother-in-law, and then put into her cookbook and has become a family favorite. For this recipe, I'm using light or sugar-free ingredients wherever possible. The first step is to mix 1 small box of raspberry Jello with 1 cup of hot water. You will need to stir this until the Jello has completely dissolved, but you want to make sure that the water is still hot when you proceed to the next step. To the Jello, we are going to add 1 can of cherry pie filling. We will want to stir this until it is well combined. Once it is completely combined, we will put this in the refrigerator to chill thoroughly until it's firm. Now, as we're adding the cherry to the Jello, it is going to thicken rather quickly because it is being cooled down by the cherry pie filling. While the cherry pie filling and Jello mixture is chilling, I'm going to go ahead and prepare half a cup of heavy whipping cream, and I'm going to just whip it until it is nice and fluffy. You could also use Cool Whip, you could use Ready Whip, you could use the powdered packaged material and whip it up. But go ahead and prepare it and then stick it in the refrigerator until it's needed. I will stop this a few times and scrape down the sides of the bowl just to make sure that I'm getting a nice thorough mixture. You'll notice I did not add anything else to this heavy whipping cream. That is because it is going to be part of a component for the next step, and we just need it there for the fluffy volume. I will set this in the refrigerator covered until it's needed. For the top layer, we'll need the following ingredients: cream cheese, lemon jello, mini marshmallows, which are optional, crushed pineapple, mayonnaise, you can also use Miracle Whip, and optional, which I'm choosing not to do, are chopped walnuts or some other kind of nuts that you would like on top. For the next layer, we have to wait until the bottom layer is mostly set. Here you'll see it has a little bit of a jiggle, but it is firm enough that we can put something else on top. We also are pulling out our whipped topping because it will be needed as part of the ingredients. Just like in the first layer, we need to start with our Jello. We will mix the lemon Jello with 1 cup of hot water. Then we will stir it with the Jello and keep stirring until it has dissolved completely. The next step is to combine the cream cheese with your mayo. I use a mixer for this, a hand mixer, to get it as smooth as possible. You could use a whisk. You'll notice that my cream cheese isn't quite to room temperature, so it takes me just a little bit longer to get it mixed up. The next step is to blend in the Jello into our cream cheese and mayo mixture. You'll notice I'm doing just a little bit at a time. This is just so it doesn't slosh all over the place. Next, we will add our can of undrained crushed pineapple. We want to make sure that this is well combined into our mixture. I probably could have done all of this from here on out with a whisk and the spatula, but I did throw the mixer in for just a second to help make sure that it was well combined. Once this is combined, we're going to add in our whipped topping and we're going to fold it in, being careful not to reduce the volume by too much. Once it's combined, let's add in those marshmallows and make it fluffy throughout. Now that the top layer is thoroughly combined with the marshmallows and everything, we're going to put this on top of our bottom layer, smooth it out, and then we'll put it in the refrigerator. If you're going to add nuts, you would want to add it at the point just before putting it in the refrigerator, or maybe start it in the refrigerator and then come back to it. You will want to let this sit for several hours, 3-4 at best, but you'll find that if you make this the day before, it tastes even better. It gives the flavors of that top layer a chance to really combine well. I hope you'll try this recipe. Don't forget to look us up on Instagram, and if you want to, become one of our patrons on Patreon. Thank you for watching.